Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the best 20 star powers and 20 gadgets in Brawl Stars right now. So these are going to be ones that are essential that you need to buy straight away if you have any coins available, because without these gadgets and star powers, the brawlers are borderline useless or just really bad. So I typically update this list, well, I used to every couple of months, but now not a lot of star powers are really getting buffs or nerfs, so I'm going to do this like every 6 months. So it's been about 6 months now. Let's jump into the star powers first. So starting off with boosted booster with 8-bit. So what this star power does, it increases the damage on top of the damage booster he gets with his super by 15%, and then increases the range by 50%. This just allows him and his teammates just to get so much damage on the map, and without it, 8-bit is just pretty lackluster. Next up, we have gas to heal with Stu. So you heal 640 with every single super with Stu, and this is even more essential with the hypercharge, because you can just spam your super so much. You can go from one shot to full HP with the hypercharge with gas to heal, so definitely get it. Sniping with Piper is next, and for every shot you hit, you get 0.4 of your ammo back, which is essential for Piper because she has one of the slowest reloads in the game, and you're rewarded for really good aim, especially up against tanks. You're going to be able to shred through them with a high damage and quick reload with his star power. Gale's star power, freezing snow, slows people for 0.5 seconds every single shot that he hits, which is insane. He has a built-in slow with his main attack. How can that not be strong? Sam's star power, hard to recovery, is next, and it's definitely one of the ones that you need the most probably out of this list, because you heal 20% every single time you pick up your super, which is essential because you can just constantly heal up, and there's some brawlers where they literally can't kill you with this star power, especially brawlers like Stu, for example. You just heal too much. So next up, we have protocol assist with the twins. So this star power, for every single shot that the super hits, you get an additional 30% of your ammo back. So if it hits at like 3 shots, you're going to get a full piece of ammo back, which of course against tanks is essential. I think without it, Larry would actually be around like the B tier, but this star power just enables him to win so many different matchups by getting a lot of ammo back. Next we have Angelo's star power called Empower. So for every second you're on your super, you heal for 600, which lasts for 8 seconds, so you can nearly fully heal up from this, which is insane. Of course, with Angelo, you can't naturally heal up whilst you're aiming, right? You've got to let go of your aim, which of course makes you very vulnerable. So without this star power, Angelo is just a bit meh. Next up, we have Jean's star power called Magic Puffs. For every second someone is near Jean, they'll heal for nearly 600, which is insane. This is the reason why Jean is so meta, because you can just group up with your teammates, especially in the game modes. He's already good in Knockout, Bounty, and Gem Grab. You can easily just assist one of your teammates and just constantly heal them up to help them win their 1v1. Lu's star power Hypothermia is one of the best in the game, so underrated. Depending on how frozen they are, they can lose up to 50% of their main attack damage, which again is absolutely crazy. That just allows Lu to be a 1v1 demon. Next we have Otis star power Ink Refills. So this one has been the best one in the game for a long time, because he gets an additional shot with his main attack, which of course increases DPS by 33%, and without it, he's probably the worst brawler in the game. Next we have Janet's star power called Vocal Warm-Up. So your main attack charges up to full range 30% faster. So of course this is essential because it increases Janet's range and her overall DPS, because a big thing about her is that she's able to constantly output that damage. So without the star power, again, she's very vulnerable. Melody's star power Fast Beats is next, and this is one of the best star powers in the game now, thanks to the hypercharge. So already it was pretty good. You get 6% movement speed buff with every single note that you get, so you can get up to 3, but then with the hypercharge you get an additional 3, so you can times, of course, 3 by 6. You get 36% additional movement speed with the hypercharge, which just makes her fly around the map. Next we have Sandy's star power called Rude Sands. So this might seem lackluster when you look at it, 216 damage with your super, but the reason why this is so good is because it stops the opponents from regenerating their health, and that's just a really OP mechanic, because they've got to then move outside of a sandstorm. That gives you map control, and then it also allows you to scout bushes as well, making Sandy one of the best brawlers on bushy maps. Next up we have Surge's star power called Serve Ice to Cold. So whenever you use your super, you'll be able to respawn with that second stage at all points. So we of course know that Surge level 1 is just one of the worst brawlers inside of the game, so just having this star power is essential, and it's been one of the best star powers ever since he's been released. Next we have Kenji's star power called Nemesis. So this shield allows you to tank up to 60% of your next shot. It regenerates every 5 seconds that you don't get hit as well, making it such a broken star power. Next we have Juju's star power called Numbing Needles. So for every single shot that your super hits, it will slow them for 1 second. Doesn't seem OP, but it is, because as soon as someone is hit once, especially tanks, they are literally crippled. It allows you to confirm kills so easily, and and if you throw the super straight on top of someone, you're guaranteed to get a slow. So it's just really crucial for Juju. Next we have Buzz's star power called Ice Shop. So it increases his supercharging radius by 33%. So of course this allows him to get super quicker. It allows us to get his hypercharge quicker, and without his super, Buzz is really weak. So of course you want to charge that up as much as possible. So Ice Shop allows that to happen. Business resilience with Griff is next. So for every 2 seconds, Griff heals up 15% of his missing HP. So sounds confusing, but essentially for 2 seconds you're going to be healing up. The lower the HP you are, the more of the healing you get. And on top of this, you compare this with the health gear as well. It just makes it even better. But the reason why this is so good is because you can just constantly shoot with Griff. Of course, you're literally healing up while shooting, which pretty much no other brawler can really do unless they've got like a heal gadget or something. So yeah, this is the main reason why Griff is even reliable in the meta. So moving on to the final star power on the list, we have Melee's with Byron. So this is my personal favorite because it's so underrated. It reduces the healing from any source from the opponent you hit with your super by 75%. For 9 seconds, which is insane. So basically those 9 seconds, they're not healing whatsoever, only a tiny amount. And then of course they've got to take that time plus the time they would have took already to regenerate. So they're going to take like 16 seconds to fully heal up, which is insane. And it also counters like Poco heal compositions. It counters Kit Daryl cheese compositions. It's really underrated. So now I'm going to be moving on to the best 20 gadgets in the game that you must buy, starting off with Clay Pigeons with Shelly. So for 5 seconds, your next however many attacks, 4 or 5 attacks, you'll be able to just shoot them across the map, making Shelly a sniper. So this can get some really good damage. And of course, Shelly is very limited in range. So this really helps her build up her super and start chaining. Next, we have Brawl's gadget called Stomper. So every single time you press Stomper, you'll literally interrupt your super and slow the opponents for 1.5 seconds. So the reason why this is so good is because Brawl is one of the worst brawlers in the game without it. His super is just so predictable and so slow, whilst this allows you to confirm kills, get up close, and deal so much damage. Ollie's gadget, Herbal Tonic, is next. So for how many teammates are near him, he'll throw out a healing puddle, which will last for about 5 seconds, healing them for around 720 per second, which doesn't sound like a lot, but this is just so good for sustaining pressure. For example, in like Hot Zone, you can just throw out and all 3 players are healing whilst also shooting. The same goes for Knockout. Once the gas closes in, this is such a good gadget. It's so underrated. Next, we have Dynamite's gadget called Satchel Charge. So for your next attack, you'll stun people for 1.5 seconds. It's pretty much a confirmed kill every single time. It's probably the best gadget in the game. It's so broken. Yeah, it probably needs to be nerfed. Next up, we have Rico's gadget called Multiple Launcher. So whenever you pop your gadget, you just spray out a bunch of balls everywhere, dealing 768 damage. But the reason why this is so good is because it allows Rico to counter his counters. So if an Edgar, Mortis, anybody gets close, they are pretty much dead with this gadget. And it's probably the most annoying gadget in the community. You see people just spam this gadget no matter what, 4 times a game. It's still busted. Next we have Carl's gadget called Flying Hook. So whenever you use your next attack with this gadget, you'll just fly to the end of your attack, wherever it is. The reason why this is so good is because it's really good to collect the blue star and bounty, for example. And it's really good for Carl just to make plays, especially if he's got super or if he's onto one of his counters like a sniper or a thrower. It just allows him to create pressure and make more plays. Because this gadget called Cookie Popper is next. So for your next gadget, your next ghost, you're able to deal an additional 2,200 damage, which is basically another main attack. The reason why this is so good is because it allows you to confirm kills so quickly, especially against squishy brawlers. It just increases DPS with Gus. It's a must buy. Edgar's gadget called Let's Fly is next. So basically with this gadget, it allows you to near enough fully charge your next super. So everybody knows Edgar's super just takes so long to charge up, and without it, he has very limited range and he's so easy to kill. So of course he wants his super as frequently as possible, and this gadget allows that. Next we have Colette's gadget called Gotcha. So with the next 5 seconds, every single attack will heal 80% of the damage dealt. So what that means, basically, if you're really weak, you want to be aiming your attack at the tanks, right? Because that's how you're going to deal the most damage with one shot, and you're just going to heal for every shot. So whilst you're ripping their HP, you're fully healing up. It leads to some broken interactions. Next we have Maisie's gadget called Disengage. So it's only a short dash and it does stun people, but the reason why this is so good is because you use it in combination with your super. If you press your gadget and your super pretty much at the same time, combine it, you can then dash forward, super, slow the opponents, and just leads to really good interactions. And of course, if any assassin wants to get close to you, you can just stun them easily and kill them quickly. Next we have Pearl's gadget called Overcooked. So you add an additional 1,000 damage over time. It does doesn't sound like a lot, but this really allows Pearl to one-shot brawlers, especially in the game modes that she's really good in, like Knockout and Bounty. She'll just pop out a bush, press his gadget, and kill them with ease. Next we have Shade's gadget called Long Arms, so for his next attack, he'll be 50% longer. The reason why this is so good is because Shade's main attack is just so limited, and with this, it allows him to build up his super a lot easier and just create a lot more pressure. Next we have Max's gadget called Phase Shifter, so with your dash, you'll be able to block all damage. You're literally immune whilst your dash, which is insane. It enables you to make so many plays, tank like Nanny Peeps, tank Brock supers, Big Piper bullets, whatever you want, B4K, all of this. It enables you to make so many plays on the map, and also just to dash and score in Brawl Ball, dash to just create pressure. And it's one of the reasons why Tensai is allowed to make so many plays on Max, because he uses +1, so he gets an extra dash. Lou's gadget called Syro Syrup is next, so whenever anyone's on his super, he can gadget them and freeze them for 50%. So of course this pairs really well with Hypothermia, but this just allows you to easily freeze opponents fully, and then you can stun them, get another super from that, and just keep chaining. So it's just really good. Next we have Grace's gadget called Walking Cane, so with your next attack you can just shoot out a little pistol, and it's basically like a mini gene pool. You can pull opponents through walls. You can use it in combination with your super just to make it like a mini gene pool as well. It's just really good for countering those squishy brawlers as well, allowing you to build up your super and make more plays. Janet's gadget called Drop the Base is next, so whenever anyone is within the radius of this gadget, they get 200 damage dealt to them, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the reason why this is so good, it allows Janet to automatically just scout grass, for example, and stop the opponents from regenerating their health. It's just really annoying to face off against this gadget. Next we have Otis's gadget called Fat Splatter, so for 4 seconds he leaves a puddle on the ground and deals 1100 damage. The reason why this is so good is because he could just spam this out on his lane and essentially win his lane for free, because of course you're stopping the opponents from moving anywhere near that puddle. It also deals a good amount of damage. It can help scout them. It's just really good. Next we have Artie's gadget called Out of Line, so this was reworked. It used to be the worst gadget in the game, and I would actually say it's probably the best gadget in the game. You get a free super with this gadget, which is insane. It allows Artie to literally hard counter assassins like crazy. There's nothing you can do because of his gadget. It's just so busted. Next up we have Melody's gadget called Interlude, so for every note you have, you gain an additional 10% shield. So you want to use this when you have the most notes, so of course 3 notes in normal form and 6 notes in your hypercharged form, so you get a 60% shield with your hypercharge, which is crazy. Next we have Juju's gadget called Elementalist, so with this gadget you get 3 different abilities, which is already pretty broken. If you're on the water, you get a speed boost for a certain amount of time. If you're literally on land at any point, you get a damage reduction shield at any point in time, and then if you're in grass, you can become invisible, which is just insane as a thrower. You can make so many plays with it. It's just such a broken gadget, probably the best in the game. Next we have Sandy's gadget. For your next attack, you stun players for 1 second. Doesn't seem like a long time, but this just allows Sandy to make so many plays in Brawl Ball to score goals, for example. It allows Sandy to at least like run away from his biggest counters. It can interrupt supers, attacks, whatever. It's so easy to hit. One of the best for sure. Next we have Kenji's gadget, the healing one. So basically for the damage you take within those 3 seconds, you can heal 50% of it, which is still really, really good. It enables you just to get close to the opponents. You know, if you're taking big damage, you're pretty much weak after literally going close to like a Shelly, for example. You can press this gadget, heal pretty much all of it back up, which is insane. And lastly, moving on to Draco's gadget called Last Stand. So for 2 seconds, Draco cannot be killed even if he's at 1 HP. So this just enables him to combine it with his shredding healing star power, but it also just allows him just to stay alive on the map for those 2 seconds, which can be really, really annoying. Again, you've got to perfectly time this to get the most value out of it, but of course, any mechanic that doesn't allow you to die is just broken. You think of in the past, you had B Honeycomb, you had 8-bit extra life. It's essentially this in gadget form, which is kind of busted. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know down in the comment section below. Also, if I missed out on any gadgets and star powers.